Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports podcast that does not apologize for championship rings and tings. I am your host, Ross Bolen, back again after a little hiatus so I could get married. Thank you in advance for your congratulations. But today, it is time to discuss the NFL draft as it pertains to our own Houston Texans, our beloved football team here in H-Town. Excuse me for starting on a negative note, but this is hilarious. Here's a headline from the Houston Chronicle. ESPN's NFL experts actually praise Nick Caserio, Texans. And then I got to read the opening graph by Matt Young, just because it really paints it on perfectly. Here it is. It's been a long time since any members of the media, let alone national media, have been able to say much of anything good about the Texans. You might have to go back nearly 27 months and find in-game commentary from when the Texans had an improbable 24-0 lead over the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs in January of 2020. We all know what happened after that. The Chiefs outscored the Texans 51-7 the rest of the way. DeAndre Hopkins was traded away for peanuts 2 months later, and the Texans have gone 8-25 since. There's not a lot of room for positive talking points during that stretch. He then goes on to discuss a couple NFL analysts not torching the Texans on their podcast and chalks that up as a W for the team, a win, which... Look, I only lead with this to remind us all, Texans fans, where we are at as a franchise, okay? We are a perennially non-competitive joke that the rest of the league openly mocks and really looks forward to facing on the field because we are non-threatening. And we have a long-ass way to go. Back to the days of 12-4, Gary Kubiak, Matt Schaub, Andre Johnson. And for those of you who remember the full story, even the good years during, where we were 12-4 a couple times, where we were making the playoffs and beating the Bengals in the wild card game, even the good years ended miserably. Miserably. Like, we have never really had a fully enjoyable season as Texans fans, in my opinion. So before we get all stoked on the draft picks, I just want to set the bar as low as possible for your expectations. Okay, I'm doing you a favor here. If you roll into next year thinking that somehow we're a playoff team or a contender in any way, shape, or form, you're a moron, and that is on you. You are screwing yourself in a way that is completely unnecessary. You're setting expectations unrealistically, and you're going to hurt yourself. It's dangerous, and that's not how I roll. That's not how you should roll, can bangers. You should know what your team is. Be honest with yourself. And we suck ass. So it's a rebuild, right? It's a rebuild, but unlike with the Rockets, where I at least somewhat trust Tillman Fertitta, Raphael Stone, and the front office of the Rockets, as they've really never let me down over the course of me being a fan for 34 years or whatever. The Texans front office, I have zero faith in, and with good reason, which we'll get to. But today is about the future, not the past. And last night, with the third overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, Cal McNair, Nick Caserio, Lovie Smith, and the Texans selected LSU cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. Now, one of the places the Houston Chronicle found to speak fondly of Stingley was, quote, the show is called The Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast, okay? Where, again, I find this to be funny. Like, the Cron is trying to serve us positivity in some way, shape, or form regarding the Texans, and the only place they can find any positive commentary is on podcasts, and then they write about what's said on those podcasts to make us feel better about our team. That's just bizarre to me. But ESPN's Dominic Foxworth made the case that Stingley should have been the first player off the board on The Right Time with Bomani Jones, which, look, this is one person that said that. And the Chronicle, obviously feeling the need to report it to us, but they reported that both Foxworth and Jones were surprised more teams wouldn't be blown away by the tape from Stingley's freshman year at LSU when the LSU Tigers won the national championship, and Derek was the best player on the defense despite being just 18 years old, okay? So Here's your quote. "That dude took off his prom corsage or whatever you do, walked into the LS Damn U, and was immediately the best man on their defense," Foxworth said, and was in practice against the receivers who are currently the best in the NFL, strapping them as an 18-year-old freshman. That's promising. Daddy-like. Says Stingley is a 6'1", 190-pound corner. He was an All-American in 2019 and 2020, but then he busted his foot in September, so he only played 3 games in 2021, which was the obvious red flag with this guy, right? Some teams or GMs or scouts didn't feel confident that his health or focus maybe was even there after he dominated so much his first season. Perhaps he lost a little bit of motivation was one of the things that I saw floated, but he didn't perform any drills at the NFL scouting combine in February, but he did participate in LSU's Pro Day, which was like 2 weeks ago, I think, just earlier this month in April. And he must have been incredibly impressive in that Pro Day, considering how long it's been since he faced real action to go and take him at number 3. So, also pointed out by the Chronicle, Baylor head coach Dave Aranda, who was LSU's defensive coordinator during that national championship run, he told the story about how Stingley graduated high school a semester early. That's impressive to me, as someone who almost didn't graduate high school at all, and was allowed to practice during LSU's Fiesta Bowl preparation. Okay, so this dude was 17 years old. He graduates high school a semester early. He's allowed to participate in this Fiesta Bowl prep, and again, he's supposed to be in frickin' high school. And Stingley covered future first-round picks Jamari Chase and Justin Jefferson in those practices. And when they were done, Aranda, the now Baylor head coach, Dave Aranda, declared Stingley to be the team's best defensive back, even though he wasn't even eligible to play in a game yet. So all things considered, and considering who was available on the board at 3, was Stingley the surefire, absolutely guaranteed win? Fuck no. But perhaps there wasn't one. And Caserio felt Stingley was worth the obvious risk. I can buy that. I'm on board. Corners are important. I mean, my favorite years as a Texans fan were when we had a legitimate defense. Bulls on parade, baby. Brian Cushing, J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless. I mean, the defense sets the tone for your football team. That is inarguable at this point. We've had very little success on the offensive side of the ball of late. Really, historically as a franchise, we've had very little success on the offensive side of the ball. The best, most gifted offensive player we've ever had in terms of what he could provide for the whole team Deshaun Watson. It couldn't have ended more poorly. He's in Cleveland. The guy's still a controversial mess of a human. I mean, that was the peak of our offensive prowess as a franchise, drafting Deshaun Watson. So I'm cool with focusing on defense, man. I mean, I think the corner is obviously a very important position. You're not trying to get burned over and over by the number 1 receiver. So I don't know. If he can stay healthy, sounds like we have a lockdown corner to deal with the opposition's number 1 receiver every week. Not that it'll matter if we're unable to score any points. But that is where our next draft pick comes in. The Texans ended up trading. We had the 3 and 13 pick, okay? We ended up trading the number 13 pick to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for the 15th pick, so we bumped back 2 slots. And in addition to that 15th pick, we received a 4th-round pick and 2 5th-round picks. And this is the first time in my life I have ever clapped for Nick Caserio. Great. Good shit, sir. 2 slots in that draft in exchange for, 3 additional later picks? Yes, please. So at the 15th spot, we ended up picking Texas A&M guard Kenyon Green, who is a 6'4", 323-pound monster with sleepy eyes, who I immediately fell in love with after seeing his family go completely apeshit when he was drafted. Now, initially, a video was going around that made it look like he was extremely upset about being drafted by the Texans. That was before he got the call. The video of him after he got the call with his family all going nuts in the room and him throwing up the H got me all sorts of jacked up. This dude was ranked as the #1 recruit in the state in the class of 2019. Is a Texas guy, never redshirted, never rode the bench in college, started all 35 games of his collegiate career, started all 13 at right guard his first season. He was named SEC All-Freshman that year. He was a consensus All-American both of his next 2 seasons. He started at right guard as a freshman, moved to left guard as a sophomore. He started at 4 different positions, 7 starts at left guard, 2 at right guard, 2 at right tackle, 1 at left tackle last season alone. This dude can do it all. He was the only college player to play at least 80 snaps at 4 different offensive line positions last year. Color me impressed. He's the Swiss Army knife of the offensive line. He even played a bit of center in a pinch and apparently worked out at center at some during the Aggies Pro Day just to show that he could. Fucking love it. The Texans are coming off back-to-back 4-win seasons, okay? We went 4-13 in 2021 under David Culley, who was fired after 1 season, obviously replaced by Lovie Smith, former Bears head coach, at least where I know him best from, who had been Culley's defensive coordinator. So, look, we have like 12 more picks, I think, in the 2022 NFL Draft. Do not stop praying to whatever deity it is that you believe in that the front office gets this shit right, because I still have absolutely no faith in Cal McNair after watching footage of him on Twitter on the phone with #3 pick Derek Stingley after we drafted him. That man inspires 0.0 confidence in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking intelligence, leadership, strength, ambition, none of that. He's just a blank slate, a goober with a mustache. I can't even, don't give him the phone. I know Nick's just, Lovey Smith actually is the one who made Derek talk to Cal McNair. Lovey, I know you don't know Cal that well. You've only been here a couple years. We know Cal that well. Do not give him the phone. We want these kids excited to come play football in Houston. That man is the least exciting thing about coming to play football in Houston. Do not give him the fucking phone. What is wrong with you? Keep the phone. You're the only exciting thing we've got. People like you, Lovey. People do not like Cal. No one likes Cal McNair. You're all we've got. We need you as the face. Not Caserio. His eyeballs freak people out. He's scary. He looks like he's been doing meth under a bridge. Not Cal McNair, who is just the Tommy boy of the Texans franchise. You, Lovey. You're the guy. You hold the phone, you make the calls, or let Nick, but then take the phone as quickly as possible. It's fine. As long as he doesn't FaceTime so they can't see Nick's eyes, we're good. Get on that phone as quickly as you can, though, and then do not give it up to Cal McNair for any fucking reason. Please, for the love of God, man. Sorry, but it had to be said. So my point is this. We've got a lot of picks left. We've got Davis Mills, the neck, on deck for his sophomore season where he's going to be given another shot here. We've got a new head coach. We've got 2 first-round picks, one of which is Kenyon Green, who might actually provide us with some run blocking, which was a massive fucking problem last year. This guy could be huge for us. But, you know, we've seen draft picks go wrong before. So I would take us back to the beginning of the podcast where I said, keep the bar as low as you possibly can. For you. This is for you. For me, for you, this is how we protect ourselves as Texans fans. I don't want to be Texans triggered anymore. I have enough Texans trauma. This year we go in with the right mindset, the right attitude. We know who we are. And we are who we thought we were. Today's episode is brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN is here to drastically enhance your web browsing experience and data security. No one likes being watched or tracked, even if they have nothing to hide. That's why it's important to step up your privacy game whenever possible. If you aren't using a VPN right now, you're currently open to having your internet data creeped on in a big way. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's a service that protects your internet's connection and privacy online. It creates an encrypted tunnel for your data, protects your online identity by hiding your IP address, and allows you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely and more. VPNs are the only way to be sure that your real location and IP addresses are hidden, that your online data is encrypted, and that your browsing history is invisible to your internet service provider and other third parties. Everybody who cares about their privacy should be using a VPN right now, and NordVPN is the best and fastest VPN provider in the business. NordVPN is software, not hardware, and it's super easy to use across every major platform, whether you got Windows or Android or iOS or Mac OS or Linux, even your Android TV supports NordVPN. You can connect with just one click or enable auto-connect for zero-click protection, which I personally enjoy more than probably any other feature. I just like I don't want to have to mess with it. I just want to know it's on and protecting me. I want that auto-connect. I love NordVPN because if you travel abroad, for example, finally get that vacation in, let's say, across the pond, you can make sure you still have access to your favorite shows from your home country on location-based streamers like Netflix using NordVPN. And because at this point, I think it's obviously important that we all take our own steps to protect our privacy online, because it turns out big tech not all that concerned with doing it for us. So grab your exclusive Banging the Can NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/thecan. That's nordvpn.com/thecan to get a huge discount on your NordVPN plan plus free threat protection, plus one additional month for free. This deal is completely risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose except a sense of insecurity. There's a link for that deal in the description of this episode, by the way. Thank you again to NordVPN for supporting Banging the Can and the Can Bangers. And again, that's nordvpn.com/thecan, code THECAN. In other news, the Houston Astros back above 500. Why the hell do we always have to start like this, man? I get so pumped up for the baseball season. The Astros are back. Baseball is back. It's our only promising team in the city right now. And then we always get off to this sluggish start that makes me think we're going to be some mediocre ball club. I mean, we show flashes or whatever, but it's like, God damn, come on, guys. I'm trying to be a division leader from start to finish every year. And maybe that's unrealistic, but slow start aside, we have climbed back above 500, and there are a lot of positive things to say about this team. Obviously, Jeremy Pena has been off to a great start. There are a lot of people that are making outrageous claims like he'll be better than Carlos Correa one day when he's a big boy. But look, we have no way of knowing exactly where that dude's ceiling is. Like that, again, the same thing with the Texans. Don't set yourself up for heartbreak like that. You don't want that. Carlos was amazing. Correa was that dude. Let's not pretend otherwise, all right? He'll always have a special place in all of our hearts. And let's not try to replace him with Jeremy Pena. Let Pena be his own guy. Let him develop. Let's see what we got before we make any hasty fucking takes that we can't take back, right? But he looks good. Kyle Tucker, waking up. Kyle Tucker. If nobody got me, Kyle Tucker got me. Verlander, he's hot. ERA is down to 1.73 on the season. He looks, I don't know, man, as good as I've ever seen him look. He looks healthy. He looks happy. He's old, but fuck, you can still fling it. Love it. Know what I'm saying? We've got Urquidy on the mound when we open a 3-game series tonight against Toronto in Toronto. Urquidy's 1-1 with a 3.15 ERA so far. We're 2.5 games back of the division-leading Angels right now, which, like, again, man, I hate every other baseball franchise's fan base so much at this point that I just want to be constantly rubbing it in their faces, which is why I want to be at the top all the time as an Astros fan. It's just too much fun to talk shit to all these morons, especially now that the Major League Baseball Yankee letter was released. And look, while it might not have been as explosive as some of us thought it might be or whatever, the thing for me that occurred as a result of the release of the Yankees letter is confirmation, indisputable confirmation, that the Houston Astros were not the only team doing this, that we weren't even close to the only team doing this, that this was a league-wide issue. The Yankees were only fined $100K for their sign-stealing scheme that they had going at home and on the road, by the way. And look, to me, as a fan, here was the only thing I was looking for that letter to do. Make me feel better. Make me feel better. Make me feel better about what we've been going through this last couple of years. And it did. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck the Red Sox. Fuck all y'all. We just cheated better than you. You were all cheating. We cheated better. And there are no fucking degrees to cheating. People are all out here trying to justify, well, the Yankees didn't do this, they didn't do that. Man, fuck all that. If you cheat, you cheat. You cheat, you cheat. Cheating is cheating. There are not levels to this shit. I mean, not really when it comes down to it. Like, the best argument I've seen is like, did guys come out and say like, well, Mark McGwire used steroids better than everyone else? No, the other guys who did steroids also got in trouble. No, Bonds was just better at steroids than everyone else. Everybody got in trouble. Everybody got tainted, right? The whole steroid era just covered baseball in this cloud because they horribly mishandled the entire situation, just like they did with the sign-stealing era. Major League Baseball is notoriously shite at handling their controversies. They end up sullying the good name of the league and baseball as a sport over and over and over and over. And it's just like, bro, just tell the public what happened. Just tell us what happened. You found out everyone was cheating, and one team did it really fucking well. So well that they beat everybody else and took home a trophy. Should that team be punished? Maybe. Should that team be punished in a way that makes it look like they were the only team doing it? No. That's fucking not cool, man. You made us look like assholes. Jose Altuve hadn't smiled or he didn't smile for like a year and a half after that happened. He smiled for sure since then. But man, I mean, I hate what it makes this whole sign stealing Astros asterisks, take back the pennant movement even more idiotic to me, because it's just like, guys, look, how many different major leaguers, how many ball players have to come forward and tell you, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, your team was cheating too, everybody was doing it, shut the fuck up. I mean, if your team wasn't doing it, then your team wasn't competitive, and that's also on your team, not on us. All right? And when I say us, I mean the Astros organization. To take it even further, our fan base didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. I didn't pick this. What the fuck is wrong? All we know is we won, and that everybody is a dirty, rotten, cheating scoundrel in Major League Baseball, but we did it better, and we won, and we're proud, and you can't take that from us, so go fuck yourselves, Yankees, Boston, everybody. If you got a problem with the Astros, with the 2017 ring, you want to talk about it for the next 10 years, you can't let go. Shut the fuck up and move on with your life. Move on with your life, you pathetic loser. Half the team is gone. It's over. The GM is gone. Everybody's gone. The few guys that remain, people have openly defended as not really being all that into it. Apparently Altuve routinely turned down the fucking signs and was still crushing the baseball. Also, the Yankees cheated, what year was it? I want to say 2015. We beat them when they were cheating. They had every opportunity to do the same thing when we were cheating, and they failed. But then the thing about it that makes it so despicable is guys like Aaron Judge coming out and bad-mouthing Altuve, coming out and saying that he stole MVP. When you fuckers knew you were cheating too? Eat 1,000 dicks, Yankees fans. Eat all the dicks. No one likes you. No one likes you. You're the most despised fan base in sports. You're pathetic, you haven't been good in 20 years, and nobody gives a shit what you have to say. Fuck off. I just had so much anger to let out. Feels good. Also, Jose Altuve, strained hamstring. Guy's been out a couple weeks looking to get some rehab games in apparently this weekend with AAA in Sugarland. You may have heard of the team. Name change? Ringing a bell? Space Cowboys, anybody? Space Cowboys fans in the building? Anyway, he's going to be activated from the injured list when Houston returns home Monday to start a series against Seattle. He's been on the IL since April 19th. That's 10 days. Could be activated as early as Friday. Click says Altuve wanted to get some games in at the AAA before coming back. He wanted to get his timing right? That's always the issue for these dudes when they come back from a hiatus, whether it be a week or a month or 3 months. You got to go to the minors. You got to put some work in. It's like getting your game shape back up, but then also really the biggest thing is timing with hitting and with fielding. So yeah, Altuve coming back, Verlander looking great, Kyle Tucker stepping up, Bregman was solid to start the year. He's kind of come and gone since. It's just all in all, I've got really nothing but at least decent things to say about the Astros. We're back above 500. It's kind of always how we start, slow. Don't get too down. We're 19 games in. All right, we're 10-9, a lot of baseball left to play, and I know you're all looking forward to watching it as much as I am. So go Astros. Let's get it done, huh? Have another great season. Make it to another World Series. Tell everyone to suck our dicks again. It's my favorite thing to do. But only, when it comes to the Astros. Thank you all for being here today. Make sure you tell your Houston sports friends and family about the show. You can follow us on social media at Banging the Can on TikTok, at Banging the Can on Instagram, and at Banging the Can on Twitter as well. I know that one really shocked you. We've got some merch, by the way. We've got dad hats, T-shirts. If you want to represent as a can banger in the streets of H-Town, please do by going to bolenmedia.com/shop. That's our parent company, Bolen Media, Bolen media.com/shop. Grab a Banging the Can dad cap or T-shirt today. Make sure you support our sponsor, NordVPN. If you still don't have a VPN and you're looking for one, that's a hell of an option. NordVPN.com/thecan, NordVPN.com/thecan, code thecan. Huge discount on your NordVPN plan, plus free threat protection, plus 1 additional month for free. I am Ross Bolen. This is Banging the Can. You can follow me at WRBolen on Twitter and Instagram. I will be back soon. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate y'all a lot. Make sure you holler at me on social with comments, questions, concerns. If you just want to commiserate with me throughout the rest of the 2022 draft as we desperately cling to the idea that our franchise might be turning around football-wise, I look forward to hearing from you. And I'll be back soon. Until next time, probably early next week, I'll come back to update on the rest of the NFL draft and how the Astros are doing, and maybe give some words on the Rockets offseason as well if I feel like it. I'm trying to remember when the NBA lottery, the ball picking thing, when we find out our slot, which pick we're going to get is coming up soon. Remember, the Rockets have a 14-point-something% chance at the number 1 pick, the same as the 1, 2, and 3 teams. But we're guaranteed a top 5 pick in the NBA draft, so that'll be a lot of fun to keep up with as well when it rolls around. That's the only downside. Look, if you're not competitive for a championship, you want to be where we are. Rebuild, draft picks, future of the franchise, watch the guys grow together. That's sports. That's fun. All right? So fucking keep your head on straight. Stay positive. Hold it together, people. The Astros you're gonna do this for us. God, I miss just when all 3 teams were humming. Do you remember that? We had a 2-year stretch there where I was like, we are the best sports city in America. And then just like that, it was fucking gone like Iron Man snapping. God, the NFL draft really did get me jacked up. All right, I'll be back. I got to go. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.